Hey guys, so this is the next part in the series that Candace Owens is doing the investigation into Kamala Harris's background, and it is explosive. And it basically shows that Kamala Harris essentially could be blackfishing with the people, the grandmother that she says is her grandmother, Beryl, in her book is not her grandmother. It's a black woman she took a picture with. Well, that woman died supposedly 4 years before Kamala was even born, but yet she has a picture of her with her when, when Kamala's in her 20s, she took a picture with this woman, put in her book and said it's her grandmother, Beryl. And Candace, and I'm not going to go into all the details or all the parts. You're going to have to watch it to catch up to this, but just know it's explosive. I mean, we're talking about Donald J. Harris, who's supposed to be her father, was born in 1938. Well, records show he died in 1940. So who is the man that is supposed to be her father today? And then we have been trying to investigate who is the woman Iris Cambridge that has been shown that we found that well Kamala not Kamala that Candace found, and I'll show you that picture here. This is the woman on the right that is, I mean, they look almost identical. Like if you look at the nose, the smile, the lips, all of those things, I mean the cheekbones, it looks very. So here's that woman here. Her name is Iris Cambridge, Vioris Iris Cambridge, and that was, that's her on the right, and that is Kamala's mother, supposed mother on the left. But as you can see, she looks very much like Kamala Harris, and her mother, she looks nothing like her mother. And we can go into those details, but right here you can see they closely resemble each other. Now, I'm going to get to the part in Candace's program where she actually goes into details on how we now know that the woman on the right that we found, Iris Cambridge, is actually related to Kamala Harris. So we now know for sure, it was suspected before, but it has now been confirmed that this woman is related to Kamala, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, Melanie Off Script. This is different than my main channel, Melanie King. I am breaking down these videos on that main channel and this one. I will list below in the description box all the parts to this that I have done, as well as it will be the pinned comment at the top. And so now let's get into these details, and I'm going to add a little bit more clarity to it as well.
Leave, and that is in fact a picture of the help, which would be wild, absolutely wild if we can get somebody to. And I'm going to show you the extremely black woman that we are shown a picture of, a picture that he claims he captured of Kamala sitting on Miss Iris's lap. Now I have received, and I'm wondering, and I'm sure you're wondering, could she be the Miss Iris that Donald refers to so affectionately throughout his piece? He claims in that piece, by the way, that Miss Iris's ancestry is unknown to him, right? He also claims that that Iris that he mentions is his grandmother. So it would be Kamala's great-grandmother and not her grandmother, which I suspect she is. And I'm going to show you the extremely black woman that we are shown a picture of, a picture that he claims he captured of Kamala sitting on Miss Iris's lap. Now, I have received, by the way, a note from a woman who is in her 70s who swears that she knew this family and that that woman there worked for the family. As we work to get in touch with her, she's a bit older. Trust me, I'm on it. I've reached out. I'm going to actually place a phone call later on today to try to see if she'll pick up her phone, if she's easier to connect with that way, to get to the bottom of whether or not she really does know this family. She claims that she worked for the family for so long, didn't want to leave, and that is, in fact, a picture of the help, which would be wild. Absolutely wild if we can get somebody to confirm that. What we do now know for a fact is that Iris Cambridge, so going back to, I'm going to have to start calling them like White Iris and Black Iris, like just because I think it's easier for you guys to know who I'm speaking about. So White Iris, who died in Broward County, we know for a fact now that she is related to Kamala Harris, and I'm going to tell you how we determine that fact. It is now undeniable. Because when Kamala Harris was effectively handed the torch from Biden after they staged an effective coup back in August, CNN couldn't help themselves and immediately ran an article, instantly reminding the world that Kamala's black. She's Jamaican. Instantly, let's blackify her immediately. Here is the article that they ran. And it essentially had a title like about her Jamaican roots or whatever. And embedded in the article, it was a man named Sherman Harris. And he was speaking about his second cousin, Kamala. I'm just going to read this to you. It says 3.5 years ago, Sherman Harris gathered together a clutch of family and friends at his home on a hilltop here in rural Jamaica to watch his cousin step into history. As Kamala took the oath of office as vice president of the United States, the room erupted in screams and tears, he recalled. Quote, even talking to you now, I feel some sort of tears from my eyes too, you know? Sherman Harris, 59, said in an interview with CNN, it's like tears of joy. So later throughout that article, he claimed that Oscar Harris, that would be Kamala's grandfather, Donald Harris's father, and his father, Newton Harris, were brothers. So that would make Kamala his second cousin. Okay? Now, if my theory is correct, that would mean that he knew White Iris very well, because we know that White Iris and Oscar Harris were married until death did him part, until he died. Well, guess what we found? That same cousin Sherman Harris, who was featured in that CNN piece just from August. We were crawling through Facebook. We found his Facebook page, and he posted a sweet tribute to his aunt Iris, White Iris. It was a Facebook posting of White Iris's obituary, and beneath that obituary posting, he wrote this tribute to her. There it is. You can see the third one down says Sherman Harris. Rip, Auntie, you're never forgotten. Lasting memories of shared episodes. That is the exact same Sherman Harris pictured in the CNN article. And again, this was posted under the obituary of the Iris Harris that died in Broward County. So this confirms that Iris, the White Iris, is indeed related to Kamala and Donald Harris. If Sherman is telling the truth, this would make Iris her grandmother officially. Kamala Harris must answer for this. She absolutely must answer this. You cannot be posting up pictures of you with a black woman saying that it's your grandma, okay? You cannot do that. And then come to find out there was another woman who you look much more like, and we have all of the evidence in the world that she is your true grandmother. That is just, it is too wild. It is just too out of pocket. We are going to need answers to that. Because if what Sherman Harris, who was interviewed by CNN, is saying is true, then there is no room here. There's no situation in which Black Beryl, this woman, is her legitimate grandmother, okay?
And again, this Beryl, according to death records, died 4 years before Kamala was born. So we know Beryl cannot be her grandmother. And this woman who was in the picture, well, she's definitely not her grandmother. Because again, this woman would be a ghost. And you can see how old Kamala is in that picture. And it is believed that this woman and the great grandmother that has been pictured are actually the help. And let me show you this about the cousin Sherman really quickly, and then we'll get back to this.
I'm not fizzled by what Donald Trump has to say. You know, her mother is an Indian, right? Her father is Jamaican. So she can't just turn black. She has it within her. This is Kamala Harris.
Notice what he said. Her mother is Indian and her father is Jamaican. And that somehow that means that she has black within her. That is a bizarre thing to say. He's not saying that the father is black. He's saying, after she says he's Jamaican, as though that's a race, that there's black within her. And let me show you this and why this is important. Kamala Harris's amended birth certificate from California. It says one of two, so we believe that it could be amended twice, but this is an amended birth certificate. It lists her mother as Caucasian, okay? Lists her mother as not Asian or South Asian or anything like that. Caucasian, and under race. And the father's race is listed as Jamaican. The same way this guy is like saying his race is Jamaican. That's not a race. White people can be Jamaican. Chinese people can be Jamaican. Indian people can be Jamaican. Why was this? What was changed on the original birth certificate? Why is the mother listed as Caucasian, but she's not supposedly Caucasian? And the father's race is listed as Jamaican. Something's not adding up. And this is the same Sherman that was saying RIP to his auntie, Iris, the white woman that you saw the picture of. And there's no way that she can be the supposed Donald Harris's mother that is claimed to be her father today. They cannot be his mother because she would have got pregnant with him at 10 and had him at 11 years old. That doesn't make any sense. So, but we know for sure she is related to Kamala Harris. How? And that the father mentions her in this piece that he wrote. But no one's ever connected the dots. They just assumed it was a black woman, but come to find out, this Iris is white. How are these people connected? How is she related to the, like, none of this, we know her black family most likely was the help because her family were rich plantation owners. They had 1,100 slaves, and they actually made $11 million selling those slaves. So they had a lot of help that was around even after slavery. Right, because people would stay on as sharecroppers. The slaves would stay on because that's all they knew. That was like, they would stay and help the family and take menial wages, live on the property and all of that, and help raise the children and be domestic help at that point. And it is believed that Kamala Harris has been pretending that the help is actually her family, but now it's confirmed is a lie, and that this white woman, Iris, is actually part of family. And again, this isn't about race. No one cares. It's the massive lies and cover up and complete conspiracy behind this. What is Kamala Harris trying to hide?
Saying that it's your grandma, okay? You cannot do that. And then come to find out there was another woman who you look much more like, and we have all of the evidence in the world that she is your true grandmother. That is just, it is too wild. It is just too out of pocket. We are going to need answers to that. Because if what Sherman Harris, who was interviewed by CNN, is saying is true, then there is no room here. There's no situation in which Black Beryl, this woman, is her legitimate grandmother, okay? And by the way, I want to say, just looking at this Beryl, she in no way favors Donald Harris. Let's get a side-by-side of Beryl and Donald Harris. Like, what are we even speaking about? If you put this together, how are you getting Beryl from this woman and Oscar Harris? I don't see it. Now, again, genes can be funny, but then when you put him next to our white Iris, I go, okay, look at those squinty eyes here. I could see a little bit of a similarity here. He does seem...
But even then, it may be a little similarity, but I'm sorry. She looks direct. Her and Kamala Harris look like almost identical. Like you could see that being Kamala Harris's face when she gets much older. Because there's a question, is this man even her father? Could this woman actually be her mother? It is just all very bizarre because, again, this Donald Harris should not be alive. He died at 2. The one who was born to a Black Beryl, which we know now was never related to Kamala Harris, even through marriage records and all of these other things. His supposed father was married to her, to Iris, never married to a Beryl. Beryl was married to a different man. None of it is making any sense. Even his birth date does not make any sense. The man in his age today. So who is this? So I'm going to leave it off here. She goes in to talk about Christopher Alves, who is supposed to be Iris's, the woman on the right, supposed to be her brother, and how she actually found kind of like a picture of him. It's black and white in the newspaper, and he appears to be white. And he also, when he died in 2020, in his obituary, he wanted people to know that he was a Freemason. And she goes in to talk about Freemasonry and how many world leaders in the dark history of Freemasonry. And, when you talk about the Hollywood cabal and the powers that be and how they're tied to it, and it's very dark. But we also know the man that's claiming to be her father is also a Marxist. So we now see Kamala has ties to Marxism and Freemasonry directly in her family. And something about that to me says that this is all connected, that this is some type of Manchurian candidate weirdness that has been uncovered, and we are just scratching the surface. It is, you know how diabolical you have to be to pretend like the help is your family. But then outside of that, how diabolical it is to actually plan this whole thing out to raise Kamala to be this Marxist Freemason vice president, potential president of the United States. It's really dark, bizarre, and quite honestly scary. That is the scariest part to me, not just the race. Again, nobody cares about her race, but it's the pretending that you're black. It's the family history that makes no sense, the hidden family members, the lying about this, the birth records, death certificates, none of it matches. The amended birth certificates, all of it is very bizarre. And then the thing I say, where's all the white family members that are related to Kamala Harris? Have people been paid off? Is this some type of concerted plan? Because we know her brother was a Freemason. So we don't know. These questions are still being unearthed. But again, I will link all of the different parts below so that you guys can kind of catch up to the investigation, or if you haven't seen it all. But it is dark, it is scary, and this is groundbreaking. I've never seen anything like it. So make sure you subscribe to this channel as well as my main one, Melanie King, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.